Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be my weekly reviews, and I'm just going to talk about what I've watched over the past week, like my previous videos. I didn't really watch all that much in the past week, like compared to previous videos, so I'm hoping this video will be relatively short, so it shouldn't be like, an hour long again, so but we'll see, since, I have a habit of rambling. But anyway, I didn't watch any, I didn't finish any TV shows this past week, so I'm just going to talk about the films that I've seen. And the first one that I watched was part of my watching, the films that were nominated at the Academy Awards for this year, because I've decided I'm actually going to go through every single category and watch everything that was, either won or was nominated, and I'm making my way through the Best Pictures list, and the one that I was up to was Selma, and I hadn't seen this before, because I think I'd only ever seen like 3 films before I started on this little project. I'd only ever seen 3 of the films that were nominated, and but now I'm slowly, now I've actually seen all of them, but I'll talk about that when I get to the other film. But the first one that I'm going to talk about is Selma, and I thought this was a really well done film, and I actually thought it was quite interesting, the moment from the, I guess, where given the time frame, I think, where they were the film was centered on the walk from Selma to Montgomery. I actually didn't really know much about this point in history. Obviously I knew of Martin Luther King. I knew about, the I Dreamed a Dream speech. I knew that he was assassinated in 1968, but I didn't really know much about his life in between those events. And I thought the film did a really good job in capturing that with the civil rights era and the tensions that were going on, and just seeing that unfold, because the first time I'd actually really heard of the book from Selma to Montgomery was earlier this year, I think, because they mentioned it on the news because it was the 50th anniversary, and I actually just sort of found it really fascinating. It was just a really well done film. Parts of it were a bit hard to watch, especially with the the riots, and just seeing how that was obviously I know that's what happened, because a lot of it, I think they used actually footage from that when this was happening, so it really had that sense of realism, and that, I think it just sort of I guess the emotional depth for this film as well, that gave it that extra, obviously I'm not really explaining myself here well, I know, but I just thought for this, this part of history, and because obviously it's an important part in the civil rights era, and I'm actually glad that I've seen the film, because now I feel like I do know a bit more about what took place. Obviously not everything, I don't know, I only know what they showed on the film, but I sort of do want to actually go in and learn more about what took place, because I do know there was a bit of controversy over some of the facts in that I think they fudged a little bit or something, but it's in regards to how LBJ was portrayed. But I do think the film did a good job in laying the groundwork for people who may not necessarily have known about this event, and it definitely makes me want to go out and learn more about what took place, and it was I just found it really fascinating, and it was it's just a really well, like, you know, well done, put together film. And like the acting was really good. I can't pronounce his name. The guy who played Martin Luther King, he was fantastic in this. He should have been nominated for a best actor nomination, because yeah, he really carried the film. You could believe he was Martin Luther King, like just like his mannerisms and how he like in his portrayal. And yeah, he was really good. And so was the actress who played his wife. I can't think of her name at the top of my head, but she was really good. Yeah, it's like I thought everyone, like, yeah, just was really well acted. And yeah, I thought it was, yeah, very good film. And yeah, so, and I'm glad I've seen it now. So, and I gave Selma an 8.5 out of 10. So after that, I ended up watching Paranormal Activity 4 and Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. These were spread out over like a few days, but I've just talked about them together like I did the previous ones because they're part of the same franchise. So I've now seen all 5 Paranormal Activity films. There's a 6th one coming out like later this year, and I will say about the 4 and the marked ones, they weren't particularly the best films ever. The marked ones was just horrible. I didn't like it at all. It was just, I think this is meant to be like a spin-off or something, because, I mean, aside from, you know, like mentioning some of the events that happened in earlier films, it just felt like it was a separate film, like not that it really belonged to the like this particular franchise. But yeah, I just didn't like it. It was I mean, I knew going in not to expect much, but yeah, it was, yeah. Because I ended up watching this film on Netflix, and I was just like, yeah, no, I wouldn't. It's not a film I would be in a particular, you know, hurry to own my own copy of, because I mean, I don't own any of the Paranormal Activity films, but I think this one would be pushing my limit, you know, as a completist, because I'd be like, because realistically, I only really liked the first 2 probably. 3 was okay. 4 was average. There were some parts that were, you know, like decent enough, but yeah, 4 and 5 were not really all that great, to be honest. They're just personal opinion. But I definitely preferred Paranormal Activity 4 over the marked ones. Not that that was that hard to do, but I ended up giving, I think Paranormal Activity 4 is probably like I guess a 5.5 out of 10. And the marked ones, let me think here. Honestly, I just couldn't really find anything redeeming about yeah, the 5th one at all. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 10. I think I just did not like it at all, and I'm not gonna be in a major hurry to go out and watch it again. So but yeah, I can definitely see what people like me when they say this like, you know, the series starts off well, but then it just goes downhill. Yeah, because that's the thing, because the second one is probably my favorite out of the Paranormal Activity films, but yeah, but I did like the first one, and as I said, 3, it was okay. I thought it was interesting in how they did the sort of like the prequel, like you know, the first time that the girls sort of came into contact with like it's, you know, what was possessing them. And but yeah, and as I said, 4 had its moments, and 5 was just horrible. So yeah, that's my summary of the Paranormal Activity films. But I am glad that I can actually say now that, you know, I've seen the films, because prior to because this is the first time I've ever seen them. So anyway, then I finally got around to watching Superman Returns, because I've slowly been making my way through my Superman box set, because and yeah, because I'd seen all the Christopher Reeve Superman films, but I hadn't seen any of the more recent ones. And I actually like Superman Returns. I know a lot of people seem to be mixed on it. A lot of people seem to be mixed on Brendan Routh or Ruth. I'm not 100% sure how you say his name, but I thought he was fine as Superman. But I seem to be one of the few people who doesn't have a problem with him, because I know there's a lot of complaints about him on, like, you know, in the because he's like on Arrow and he's going to be in Legends of Tomorrow, and I know there's a lot of complaints about him in the like the message boards and that. But honestly, I'm fine with him. It's like and like I liked him in Superman Returns. I ended up enjoying the film a lot. It was I thought it was an interesting like premise, because it's set, like, you know, 5 years after Superman 2, which is probably at the moment my favourite of the Superman films, and I sort of liked that aspect of it. But what I think one of my, if I had to say an issue that I had with it, was I felt like it didn't know what era it was going to be, like, trying to be in. Like, it was, I don't know whether it was going for like an 80s feel, because like it would have been, because obviously like the second one was in the early 1980s, and then because that was a feel that I was getting in Superman Returns. But then you sort of had modern technology, like you had mobile phones and like things like that, and in a way it kind of reminded me a bit like Gotham, because it's like the TV show, because you don't really know what year it's set in, but this, like, it's got a real, like, you know 70s 80s feel, but there's like modern technology as well. So that was probably the only main complaint I had with it, because it just didn't, like, it felt like it was going for, like, you know, a retro feel like Superman Returns, but then it was like trying to still be a modern film, like, I guess for 2006. But other than that, I just had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, it was because like, obviously I haven't seen Man of Steel yet, so I can't give my definitive rankings of the film, but at the moment it's probably goes to the first film, then Superman Returns, 3 and 4. And I actually liked 3 and 4. I know a lot of people don't, but I had fun with them, so it was, but yeah, that's just sort of, but yeah, so overall, really enjoyed Superman Returns, and I'll probably give it an 8 out of 10. Then I watched Big Hero 6, and I finally got around to watching it, because I don't know why it took me so long to watch it, because I didn't get to see it in the cinema, because even though it's like a Disney film, and, you know, obviously I've loved the last few films that they've done, like, you know, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, and I was just kind of like, I don't know, it's just, I saw, like, obviously saw the trailers and that, and I was like, oh yeah, and then for whatever reason I just didn't bother, like, going out of my way to see it. And then finally I was like, right, it's going to start working my way through the like best animation pictures, and because Big Hero 6 won it for the best animated film, and I can honestly say, like, I haven't seen any of the others yet, so I can't give a definitive answer on whether it's like the best film out of the categories, but I can officially say that I loved Big Hero 6. I had so much fun with it. It was like a bit of everything. There was drama, there was, you know, humor, there was action. It was just, yeah, it met and rose beyond my expectations that I have of this film. And yeah, I'm definitely in the I loved it category, because I think this film was a bit mixed in terms of reception. And I mean, there's like more positive reviews than negative, but I think there was some people who weren't overly fond of it, but I loved it. It was, yeah, I loved all the characters, and yeah, it was just, yeah, as I said, a lot of fun. And I loved Betamax, I think that's his name. I can definitely, you know, see why a lot of people were saying that he was like their favourite character, because he was definitely mine. Yeah, it's just, it was like really quite interesting, because I was sort of, you know, I was watching it, and then when because I loved the part where his battery was low and Hero was trying to get him like home, and he was basically like drunk. That was like the description was just like half the stuff that was out of his mouth, it was just like it was one of the funniest moments in the film. And yeah, and but yeah, I just, there's just a lot of moments like that I felt really added to it. Like one of my other favorite moments, one of the kids, he's like a had a, it's like has a bit of a grunge look, and is like when he took them home, and because he has like this big sprawling mansion, that's where he lives, he's got like a butler and everything, and everyone was just kind of like, you live here. And like, because like his appearance doesn't like, you know, give this like he doesn't fit the stereotype of, you know, being someone who lives in like such a luxurious place. And he's just kind of like, guys, this is my home. And one of the girls goes, you live here? I thought she lived under a bridge. It's just yeah, there's just like lines like that. There's yeah, it was yeah, there's a lot I loved about this film. I also especially like really appreciated like how they built, you know, I guess their own costumes, and how like their powers and that. It was all from technology that they built, and I sort of liked that aspect of it. And yeah, I just yeah, it was just a really well done film, and I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10. I really hope there is a sequel, because when I was watching it towards the end, I was like, so is there not going to be a sequel to this? Because just like with what happened in regards to a certain character, because I'm like, you can't really have a future film without him. And then yeah, it's just, I guess the ending like fixed that. But yeah, I loved Big Hero 6. It's probably the favourite thing I've watched out of everything this week. So and then finishing off the watching the Best Picture nominations, I finally saw Boyhood, because I know this was a serious contender for Best Picture, like, because I think it was between Birdman and Boyhood. I will say I'm still, like, I do agree with the decision to give Birdman the Best Picture, because that is still like my favourite out of all the Best Picture films. But I did think Boyhood was really well done, because when I first, like, I put it on and I was like, how are they going to fit 12 years into like 2 hours and 45 minutes? But it was done really well, like because it's sort of it's basically, you sort of see him grow up, but you only get really tiny snippets like that, and that's sort of how but you get the like, you just get like important glimpses into, well, maybe not necessarily important, but you get these like little glimpses, and you can see his growth as he like, you know, grows up into from a little boy into like going off to college. And I just thought it was really well done, like especially like seeing, like you could obviously see the cast grow, not just like the little boy, but the two main actors, like Patricia Arquette, who was phenomenal in this film. I do agree that she definitely deserved her Best Supporting Actress award. Because that's actually another category I've seen everything in. Like I've seen all the performances in that category, and yeah, she was incredible. But yeah, because I wasn't too sure what to expect going in, and I sort of started it, but then the first hour of the film was just so emotionally draining. It was just because of like the nature of what the characters were going through, and I was just sort of like, is this going to be like it for the rest of the film? Like, it's at that point, obviously, you hadn't even got through halfway through the film, and it was just, yeah, it was just really hard just because of what was going on, but I think it was done really well, just because it's and you sort of saw like the characters grow stronger, and because like, you know, they were going through such a horrible time, but then they sort of pulled together, and you saw that as the like like that, you know, they had to like learn how to cope with like what was going on, and yeah, it was really well done, like the film itself, and like the directing was really well done. I haven't seen Foxcatcher yet, so I can't officially you know, give my like opinion on the, like in terms of who should have got Best Director, but out between Birdman and Boyhood, I do think the Academy, it should have gone to Richard Linklater, I think that's his name, because the directing in this film was incredible. And I think, yeah, he should have gotten it, but as I said, I haven't seen Foxcatcher yet, so, but this is my preliminary opinion. So whenever I do finally see Foxcatcher, I can say for certain that that's how it should have gone. But yeah, no, Boyhood was, yeah, it was a really well done film, emotionally draining at times, but I liked how with the glimpses you sort of could work out like where they were in terms of the years, because it's like you're only really given like snippets as the years progress, but you can sort of work out like where they're up to, because I think it's like so like from 2002, I think that's when it starts, and it's like all the way up to, I think last year was when it was, like 2014 was when they stopped filming, I think, or was it 2013? No, it might have been 2013 actually, because the film came out last year, so yeah. But yeah, no, it was because you sort of saw like, you know, you had like the midnight launch of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. You sort of got and then you got like, you sort of had the 2008 presidential campaign. The movies that came out in 2008 were referenced, you know, like Tropic Thunder, Dark Knight. There was something else that he referenced, but I can't think of it at the top of my head. But yeah, you just sort of got those glimpses, and you could work out where they were in terms of like actually, yeah, just like through the years, and I thought, yeah, that was really effective. So but yeah, Boyhood was really well done. I ended up giving it a 9 out of 10, and for my overall rankings in terms of like where I rank the best picture films, my favorite is Birdman, so that was so yeah, I do think it deserved best picture at this year's Oscars. Then it goes Whiplash, Boyhood, Imitation Game, Theory of Everything, Selma, American Sniper, and The Grand Budapest Hotel. Yeah, I just... Because, like, the last, especially, like, Grand Budapest, I mean, I liked it. I thought it was good. I just didn't love it as much as other people did. But that's just my opinion. So, but yeah, that's my ranking in terms of the films that were nominated for this year's Best Picture. So I've finally seen, I think this is like the first year I've actually seen every single film in the Best Picture category, because like I said, I'm making my way through the different categories. Like I'm going to go through, you know, Best Picture, Best Director, Actor, Actress, Supporting, like the supporting categories, and like even documentaries, short films. I'm doing everything. So, and there should be at least one of those films in each review as I go along, but we'll see how I go. So, and then the last film, like, non-cinema film that I saw, I watched Aloha, directed by Cameron Crowe. I was, like a lot of people, I did not really care for Aloha. It had an interesting premise, like, and I feel like it could have been really good, like, but I think a lot of the issue was the script. It was just, like, I didn't really get, you know, like, there's no, like, emotional depth to what was going on, like, because there was a lot going on, like, and there could have been, like, a really, like, they could have built it up, and it could have been, like, really, like, a lot of tension and, like drama, but they didn't really, like, do that. They just sort of mentioned, oh, this guy is going to do this, and then they sort of go and stop it, but then there's no real, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit of fallout, but it's not, you don't really believe it as such. It's just, yeah, it's like, but, like, it's got a really good cast, but, yeah, it just, it just doesn't really deliver. It's, because I don't think the film knew quite what it was going for, like, because, I mean, I was under the impression it was a comedy, but it felt more like a drama. Like, I mean, there's a sprinkling of, you know, comedic moments, but, yeah, it's sort of like the film itself didn't really know what it was doing, and, yeah, certain, like, and like, and there were, like, some actors in there, like, say, like Bill Murray, whose character was just wasted. Bill Murray was just there. It was like, you know, he just showed up for his paycheck, and that was it. Like, the script didn't really give him much to do. You just sort of got, like, because, like, he could have been a really interesting character, but they just didn't give him anything to work with, and, like, he did a good job with what he was given, but that was pretty much like the rest of the cast. Like, they did the best that they could with the script, and, but I think even the script, like, you know, even the best acting could not have saved the film, and I was, yeah, just, I mean, I was going into it with low expectations, like, I wasn't expecting a whole lot, but, again, this is kind of like another film where it's my expectations, even my lowered ones were not met. And I ended up giving Aloha a 5.5 out of 10. Yeah, I just didn't really like the film. Like, I wanted to like it, but I just couldn't. So that's the it for the regular films. And then the film that I saw at the movies well, actually it was yesterday, I ended up seeing Hitman Agent 47. Again, this is a film that seems to be dividing a lot of people, but again, I liked the first one with Timothy Olyphant, and I liked this one. They're just a lot of fun. Like, I mean, I've never played the video games that the movies are based on, but you sort of, it's I don't know, it's just these type of films, you don't go in for a story, you go in to, you go in to see the, like, people, shoot 'em ups and everything like that. It's very stylized, a lot of action, a lot of ass kicking, and at the end of the day, the film entertained me. And that's, when I go into a movie, I want to be entertained, especially like these kind of films, and that did its job in as far as I'm concerned. And I liked there wasn't really one thing I didn't really have an issue with the story itself, like because as I said, it's not a type of film that needs to have a good story as far as I'm concerned, but yeah, I just really liked it. And one of the best parts, I thought, I mean, this is before the film even started, we got the Deadpool trailer as one of the trailers for the film, and it was awesome seeing it on the big screen, because Deadpool's one of my most anticipated films for next year. But that's a bit of random, like, not really related to the film review, but yeah, but it's like, if you don't go into the film not expecting much, you'll just have a just a fun time, and that's what happened. I had a fun time, and I ended up giving the film a 7.5 out of 10. So that is it for my film reviews. I've no idea. Hopefully, with video length, hopefully it's not too long. But yeah, I don't know if I'll manage to like watch more next week, but we'll see how it, because I'm sort of in like a bit of a weird slump, because I try and manage it between TV and movies, and then like sometimes I just don't really feel like watching anything. But I didn't do too bad overall this week, so I mean, it's a bit low compared to like my other previous weeks, but yeah. So I'm just gonna stop it here, because yeah, at this point I'm just rambling. So thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye.